Lesson 3, Digital Business Strategy, prepared for discussion by Karen Wagan Pastrana, Instructor 1 from the College of Management. The main purpose of digitalization is to generate higher revenue and create new value-added opportunities. At present, many companies are in the process of digitization. Top businesses have already done this technique and are very successful in economic, financial, and customer satisfaction. Keeping up with the latest updates and facts regarding digitalization is very important for anyone who would want to start their own business or change their business into a digital one. A strategy, as defined, is the future direction and actions of an organization or part of an organization. It is the blueprint of decisions and a well-defined roadmap of an organization. It defines the overall mission, vision, and direction of an organization. The objective of a strategy is to maximize an organization's strengths and to minimize the strengths of the competitors. A strategy, in short, bridges the gap between where we are and where we want to be. Imagine you are opening an online store selling handmade jewelry. The strategy is your big plan for making that store successful. It's not just about having a website. It's about making smart choices to attract customers and beat the competition. In organizations, there exist three levels of strategy, namely corporate level, business level, and functional level. All levels of strategies have a significant role in achieving the overall targets of the organization. Think of it like building a house. Your corporate strategy or your big picture decision, or the what and where, is your decision to build a house. Not an apartment, but a house. It's clear to you what you want to build and, of course, where it will be located. Next is your business strategy or the how for each decision, which is the style of your house. How would you like it to be? Classic, modern, rustic, or among others? And of course, who are your target buyers? Lastly is the functional strategy or the doing details or the day-to-day activities to achieve or to complete your big picture. In our example, the house. Your functional strategy here covers the actual construction. It includes plumbing, electrical, roofing, painting, and among others. Now let us discuss each level of strategy. The corporate level strategy is concerned with the overall purpose and scope of the organization, defining its core purpose and long-term direction. Corporate level strategy is the uppermost level of strategy made by the top level management, which sets the overall direction of the organization. It addresses the question, what business are we in? For example, if your corporate level strategy is to enter a new market, you're planning for growth. All the other strategies and actions of your business then have to serve this big strategy. There are four types of corporate level strategy: the stability, expansion, retrenchment, and combination strategy. The stability strategy focuses on maintaining your current market position and making only minor adjustments. It's about staying competitive and efficient without significant changes. A very good example is when a company offers the same product or service to the customers without introducing any new product or service. Next is the expansion strategy, which aims is to increase the size and scope of your business. It's about expanding into new markets, offering new products or services, or increasing your market share. It's a total opposite of the stability strategy, which focuses to maintain the existing business and product. For example, an online clothing store who is originally selling clothes decided to expand its product line by including shoes and accessories to target new customer segments. Third is the retrenchment strategy, which involves reducing the size and scope of your business. It might involve selling off unprofitable product lines, exiting certain markets, or even downsizing the entire organization. This is often necessary when a business is facing financial difficulties or when certain parts of the business are no longer viable. Lastly, is the combination strategy, which uses a combination of the previously mentioned strategies: stability, expansion, and retrenchment. Different parts of the business might pursue different strategies depending on their specific circumstances and potential. This is common for diversified companies with multiple product lines or business units. Going back to the strategy pyramid, we will move on to the discussion of the business level strategy. This part of your strategy will be more detailed than the corporate level strategy and include actionable steps on how you will achieve your primary purpose or goal, or on how you will compete and win among your competitors. If in the corporate level strategy, we addresses the question, what business are we in the business level strategy, we deal with the question, how do we compete? Just remember, it is all about creating a competitive advantage for our business. In this level of strategy, there are three types: cost leadership, differentiation, and focus strategy. Now let us begin to have a detailed discussion of the different types of business level strategy. First is the cost leadership strategy. It is a step in producing goods or services with attributes that customers find acceptable at a lower cost than competitors. Choosing the cost leadership strategy, or being the budget-friendly option, you aim to be the lowest cost provider of goods and services. You win by attracting price-sensitive customers who are looking for the best deals. In terms of marketing, as a business, you may focus on promotions, discounts, and highlighting low-price products in all your advertisements. Next is the differentiation strategy. It is an endeavor to produce goods or services that buyers perceive as unique at a reasonable cost. When you select differentiation, or offering something unique as your strategy, it means you would like to offer products or services that customers perceive as unique, superior, or having special value. Using this strategy, you will win by attracting customers who are willing to pay a premium for something different. For example, you have an online store selling handcrafted goods with unique designs. You may emphasize in your marketing the quality and craftsmanship of your products. Lastly is the focus strategy, which entails producing goods or services that cater to the needs of a specific competitive segment. Focus strategy simply means catering to a specific niche, and it means that you decided to concentrate on serving a particular segment of the market, and that you become an expert in that niche and cater specifically to their needs. For example, a website or an online store offering products is specifically for left-handed people. Here in marketing, you may focus on the targeted advertising and build relationships within their niche community. Now that you've got your corporate level strategy, or what makes you are in, and your business level strategy, or how you will compete, you need now to think of the ways on how you will actually make it happen day to day. And that is functional level strategy. This strategy aims to deal with the question of how do we support the business level strategy. Functional level strategies are concerned with the tactical decisions, such as human resources, production operations, marketing, research and development, and among others. Each functional department has its own functional level strategies. Remember, the functional strategies are the day-to-day plans and actions within each department to support the overall business strategies. And here are some of its key types. The first is the marketing strategy, or reaching to your audience. It is your plan for reaching potential customers and turning them into buyers. In e-commerce, these are the search engine optimization, social media marketing, content marketing, email campaigns, online advertising, influencer collaborations, and among others. Next is the functional strategy, or managing the money. This is how you will manage your finances, including budgeting, pricing, securing funding, and managing revenue. In e-commerce, this includes setting pricing strategies for your products, managing online transactions, tracking key financial metrics, and securing funding for growth initiatives. We also have the production strategy, also known as operation strategy. This is how you will produce or source your products, manage your inventory, handle logistics, and fulfill orders. In e-commerce, some of its examples comprise of streamlining order fulfillment processes, optimizing inventory levels, choosing reliable shipping partners, and managing relationship with suppliers. To further discuss the remaining two types of functional level strategy, let us look at human resources and research and development. The human resource strategy deals with managing your team. It is how you will recruit, hire, train, manage, and retain your employees. For example, in e-commerce, this strategy involves developing job descriptions for online marketing roles, creating training programs for customer service teams, and fostering a positive work culture for remote employees or mobile employees. Finally, the research and development strategy, which is centered on innovation and improvement. It is how you will invest in research and development to create new products, improve existing offerings, or enhance your technology. Examples of these include conducting market research to identify new product opportunities, developing a mobile app for your online store, and or investing in data analytics to understand customer behavior. Now let us turn our attention to the concept of digital business strategy. It is the approach by which applications of internal and external electronic communications can support the business strategy. It is also an organizational strategy formulated and executed by leveraging digital resources to create differential value. Imagine your business as a car. Your overall business strategy is your roadmap. It tells you where you want to go. Your digital business strategy is how you use technology to make the journey faster, smoother, and more successful. If the digital business strategy is not clearly defined, the following implications may occur. Missed opportunities from lack of evaluation of opportunities or insufficient resourcing of digital business initiatives. Next is inappropriate direction of digital business strategy. The third one is limited integration of digital business at a technical level. And lastly is resource wastage through duplication of digital business development and different functions and limited sharing of best practices. Next is the digital channel strategy. It defines how a company should set specific objectives and develop specific differential strategies for communication with customers and partners through electronic media. It enables the company to prioritize efforts in the various customer-facing contact points with a focus on identifying the measures that create the greatest value for the customers. Think of it like this. Your digital channel strategy is your plan for how you will use different online platforms to reach and engage your customers. It is about choosing the right channels and tailoring your message for each one. Some of the common digital channels for e-commerce are website, social media, email marketing, search engine optimization, paid advertising, content marketing, and mobile applications. On the other hand, multi-channel digital business strategy means using all the digital channels together. Let us think of multi-channel as many channels. It's about using a variety of online and offline channels to connect with your customers. It is more than just having a website. It is about how all your channels work together. The main characteristic of a multi-channel digital business strategy is that it is a channel strategy. So it observes the following. First is specific digital business objectives need to be set to benchmark adoption of e-channels. Next is digital business strategy defines how we should communicate the benefits of using e-channels, prioritize audiences or partners targeted for e-channel adoption, prioritize products sold or purchased through e-channels, and achieve our e-channel targets. Third is digital channel strategies strive on creating differential value for all parties to a transaction. The fourth one is digital channels need to be managed through right channeling so that we will be able to reach the right customer, to use the right channel, with the right message or offering, and at the right time. With this, we also need to remember that digital business strategy also defines how an organization gains value internally from using electronic networks such as sharing employee knowledge and improving process efficiencies through intranets. Every company always look for ways on how to improve. Identifying and defining the organization's goals are not enough. There is still a need to adopt a strategy process model to accomplish these goals. The same is true for e-commerce, where a strategy process model provides a framework that gives a logical sequence to follow in ensuring the inclusion of all key activities of digital business strategy development. On the other hand, developing digital business strategy defines the specific steps how a business will use technology developments to innovate their products and or services or to improve customer experience through value-added activities. This is the reason why a strategy process model is said to ensure that digital business strategy can be evolved as part of continuous improvement, or a technique that helps businesses to streamline workflows. In the conduct of business, we have the what we call as corporate social responsibility or CSR. This management concept describes how a business should carry its operations in an ethical manner, taking accountability of their social, economic, and environmental impact. The same is true in the adoption of digital technology. Even though digitalization is said to provide various advantages in terms of the way how we live and work at present time, it still possesses some challenges which are not limited to concerns over data security, spread of disinformation, increase in crime rate, such as plagiarism and identity theft. Digital technologies may likewise create a negative impact in the environment due to manufacturing pollution because companies use energy to run their factories. Examples are those who are involved in the manufacturing of computers, laptops, and smartphones. Hence, we also need to practice the digital business responsibility, or for most, are called as the corporate digital responsibility or CDR. Corporate digital responsibility is a set of practices and behaviors that help a company utilize their technologies in a way that is socially, economically, and environmentally acceptable, just like in the physical world. But in addition to the proper use of data technologically. Now we will explore another important strategic approach, which is the prescriptive strategy. Imagine following a recipe to a baked cake. You follow the instructions in a specific order, step by step, to get the desired result. Prescriptive strategy is similar. It is a structured and sequential approach to developing and implementing a plan. In e-commerce and internet marketing, this strategy is useful when you need a clear roadmap and tight control over your actions. It can be helpful for large projects or when dealing with complex situations. However, it can be less flexible and adaptable than other approaches. A different approach to strategy is one that emphasizes flexibility and adaptation. That is emergent strategy. This approach recognizes that the business world is constantly changing and our plans need to evolve along with it. Consider this scenario. Suppose you are sailing a boat. You have a destination in mind, and that is your goal. But the wind and waves, which we consider as the market conditions, might change along the way. You need to adjust your sails and your course as you go. Emergent strategy is similar. It's a flexible approach that allows you to adapt your plans based on new information and changing circumstances. Remember, emergent strategy, as I've mentioned earlier, is all about being flexible and adapting as you go. To do this effectively, businesses need certain tools and practices in place. Think of this as the how behind the what of emergent strategy. The strategic analysis helps us keeps an eye on the horizon. It is about gathering information regarding the market, competitors, and behavior of customers to identify the trends and potential opportunities or threats. On the other hand, strategy formulation and selection tells us what to do. It is deciding which opportunities to pursue and how to allocate resources. Lastly is the strategy implementation, which means putting plans into actions. It is taking the necessary steps to implement chosen strategies. We will now tackle strategic analysis. It is a fundamental element of successful strategy development. It is defined as a collection and review of information about an organization's internal processes and resources and external marketplace factors to inform strategy definition. The core idea here is strategic analysis is about gathering information. You need to collect data about your company, your competitors, and the market. It is about understanding the environment. You need to analyze the information to identify opportunities and threats. And it is about making informed decisions. The goal is to use your analysis to develop effective strategies. Next, we'll look at another essential aspect of strategic analysis, the resource analysis. This involves taking a close look at what your business possesses, both tangible and intangible assets, and how effectively you utilize them. Say, for example, you are preparing to cook a dish. You need to take stock of your ingredients or the resources, and then decide how to use them most effectively to create a delicious meal. This is then how you will achieve your goals. Resource analysis is similar. It is about understanding what assets your business has and how to best utilize them. Lastly is the SWOT analysis. It is looking at the big picture. Imagine you are a coach, assessing your sports team. You'd look at your team's strengths. So what are your players good at? You also look at your team's weaknesses. Where do you need to improve? And as well as the opportunities. Are there any chances to gain advantage? And of course, the threats. What could hinder your team's success? SWOT analysis is the same. It is a framework for understanding these factors, the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, but in a business context. This concludes the end of Lesson 3. Please study and take note of the important concepts discussed in this presentation. Thank you for listening.